and welcome back for another episode of Coffee and Samosa. I'm Vanita.
I'm Priya.
I'm Kuldeep.
And I'm Kamaldeep.
And we are really happy you guys are here with us today. We have a great topic to talk about today, so I'm just going to jump right into it. We are talking about marriage and the pressures as South Asian women we feel from not only from our parents, but from society and the community, the pressures to get married at such a young age. Nowadays, standards are changing a little bit, but it's just... As South Asian women, you start feeling the pressure at like as soon as you graduate college. It's like your goal in life as daughters is to go to school, get educated, graduate, get married, and then have babies. All in that order. Don't go out of order, y'all. But really, it's as being first generation Americans and Kamaldeep as a first generation British baby, like those are what we have been instilled with, what our parents were instilled with. Our parents got married at a young age. And I think that's 20, 30 years ago, that was just the way things were done. And that was the way your life went about. Our mom got married at 23, had me by 24, So we kind of just wanted to talk about this topic because I think it affects a lot of women. Now, 2 of us are married and 2 of us are not married. So you kind of are going to see both sides of it. Now, me being the eldest, I got married later in life, according to my parents. I was 28 years old when I got married. And let me tell you guys, from the day I turned 21, I got the question, when are you getting married? When are you getting married? When are you going to be serious? And y'all, I kid you not, this continued for years and years and years. I don't think my dad and I have ever fought so much as we did from the ages of like 24 to 26. Like it was bad. Situations got bad at times. I felt, especially being the eldest daughter, and I have 2 younger sisters, being the eldest, I definitely felt that pressure, not only though from my parents. Surprisingly, I felt a lot of pressure from the community and the aunties and uncles around me. And also a lot of my friends were like either in relationships or heading towards marriage, or they were getting married. So I definitely felt a lot of pressure. I think my sisters can attest to like how bad I had it. When I was younger, I think, right, guys?
Well, yeah, I remember because like I think I was living at home at the time, and my dad would always come to me and be like, "Why don't you go get your sister married?" And in my head, I'm like, "Okay, that's funny. Like, haha, like let's put her on these dating sites." But then I was like, realistically speaking, we like were in the same circle of friends. Like we hung out all the time, and it was just like I just didn't think my parents understood that. You can't just like click a button and be like, oh yeah, we're about to get married now.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. What you were saying.
I was going to say, you got the pressures as the oldest, but I definitely get the pressure as the youngest one to get married because dad and mom are done with the 2 of you and I'm the only one left. And it's always like, I'm the only thing left standing between dad and a retirement plan.
Yeah.
So
I definitely see that too. I'm witness the pressure that we put on Kuldeep. Even I do at times. But when I think back to it, I think that the women in our family, and it's just not just us, but the women in our family, we are all very strong-willed, independent, career-oriented women. So in our family, I would say, like, as far as cousins and things like that go, a lot of the women do get married later in age. Majority of us have gotten married after the age of 25. Excuse me. But for some reason, my dad and we always talk about this. And I think that because my dad was the one person who moved away from home, he came to America, left his family and everybody behind in England. I think that he felt an enormous amount of pressure to instill these traditions on us. And his mentality stayed the same of a traditional man, like an Indian man. Whereas even back home, like his brothers and family members were not as strict with their daughters. So I definitely felt the pressure. And I know that Kuldeep feels the pressure now Now, I was my parents ended up putting me on Shadi.com. My sister and my dad made my profile. It was a huge ordeal. I remember sitting in my room crying.
Like, I made the profile to your advantage. Like, I think it would have been more awkward if dad was the one running your account. But I definitely felt pressured to do so. Like, it would create awkwardness between dad and I, like, for not listening to him.
Yeah, no, it was a huge thing. And Baldeep was younger at the time. So there's an 8-year difference between me and Baldeep. So she was younger at the time, but she was in the house, and every night at 8:00 we had to sit down and my dad would make me review men and arrangements.
We would put it on the TV.
Yeah, we would put it on the TV. And I mean, a lot of the times, guys, we just joked about it, and I tried to make the best of the situation, but I remember crying, like, and now I laugh because we do it to my sister. We do it to Baldeep. Like, I find myself going, wait, why we did this? We went through this. Why shouldn't she? So we do it to Baldeep. But truth is, like, I don't think that there is a right age to get married. There's no perfect age. After I did get married at 28 years old, I was 28 when I got married. Like, Priya, when did the pressure like come on to you? Did you feel like right away when I got married, or did you even feel pressure at all? Like, or did you feel like you could kind of like coast for a little bit? Because there's a 3-year age difference between the two of us. So when I was married, you were what, 25?
Yeah, 25.
Around, 25, I think.
I think I had just turned 24, after 25, 24, 25, one of those. I think, so like I think you met Niraj, and then dad was like, oh, why aren't you serious? Because like, I don't think I had never brought home a guy, and so dad and mom are not really used to me dating. But I had a lot of guy friends. And so dad was like, kind of like, oh, like, you should start like being serious and like get on sites and meet people. Cause I think all of my friends were in relationships or getting engaged. And I think like my group of friends at that time were younger than your group of friends at your time when you were getting married. So I felt more societal pressure than like mom and dad. And I think like you and Niraj were really shocked at how fast I got married, but I think that's what it was like. Cause I don't know. I just think it worked that way. There was no pressure from everybody else, but I felt pressure internally because I was comparing myself.
Yeah. And I know we kind of touched on it, Baldeep, that like now you being the youngest, you feel like a tremendous amount of pressure, to get married, right?
I mean, I feel the pressure, but I don't really listen to the pressure. Like, I'm going to live my life the way I'm going to live my life. And like, sorry, whatever you were to ask.
No.
I also think, Baldeep, you are a lot, and Vinitha, probably correct me if I'm wrong, but I think me and Vinitha stayed closer to home, and you always were the independent one that like left. You went away for college, you moved to Orlando, and now you're in New York. So I feel like you're not like in that immediate pressure that Vinitha and I were in.
Like you kind of like you're physically not in it. Yeah, you hear it, but you can easily turn a phone off and turn it off, right? Whereas I lived at home, I had daily pressure, mom and dad always. And then on top of it, it was like all the aunties and uncles would be like, oh, so when are you going to get married? Or when do you have some news from us? Right? Like, do you like now Baldeep, like fast forward to you, do you feel like do aunties ask you that? Do you feel pressure from the community, or is it really just from your parents?
I don't know if I feel pressure from the community because, like you said, I don't live at home, so I don't see the aunties and uncles as much as like you guys used to, because everyone would be like kitty parties and like whatever it is. And it also works out in my favor that out of my close best friends that are Indian, only one of us is married, and everyone else is still single. So I think that definitely helps. But I don't think the independent thing has anything to do with the pressure from mom and dad. I think because I'm more independent, there is more pressure, because they're like, well, you're already doing all of these things on your own. Like, don't you want to do it with a partner? Why can't you just already get married? Yeah,
I for sure see that. Now, taking it a little bit different direction, Kamaldeep just turned 21. Do you feel like already you're getting those questions?
Not really. Like, I feel no pressure at all.
Which is good.
Yeah, like my mom and dad are really chilled and relaxed. My mom's like, don't look, like look with your eyes open, like don't not look. But she's not in a rush. And my dad, just the thought of me ever getting married,
you would rather it not happen.
He just no. And like my brother as well, he's always like, see, at this point in my life, he's like, yeah, now you can start going out with boys if you want. Like he's given me permission. So it's like I don't feel like pressure per se, but I'm just.
Are like any of your friends, like, are any of them married or getting married or engaged or anything? Or
a lot of my friends, like my friendship group, all have boyfriends and like in committed relationships. There's just one other girl, my friend Mariam, you met her. She's the only one who's single as well. And the other ones seem to be like really committed and like want to marry these guys. And we're just like, oh, okay. And we're just still living our single life, just being crazy, being like, well, we do what we do. So it's like, I wouldn't say pressure because I don't feel any pressure to get married anytime soon, but we see it and we're like, okay, is this time we should be heading in that direction? But it's real chilled for me because I am so young still. And my brother is not married, so he's first. And then obviously like on dad's side, so obviously you would have got married first because you're the oldest out of all of us. And then we're still waiting for Lily to get married. And then there's so many of the cousins in between. And likewise on my mum's side, there's so many cousins that should go before me.
Yeah.
I mean, we should, but I don't know if they will.
See, you're lucky. I'm next in line on both sides of the family.
You're not Jazz, right? Like,
technically,
but technically, for some reason that boys don't really matter when it
it's like they skip over the guys in our like generations. And like Amaldi mentioned, so not only am I the eldest sister to my sisters, I'm almost on my mom's side, I'm the eldest cousin to everyone. So I was also getting a lot of pressure from my nanny and my grandparents, like, okay. And then also my other family members, they were all pressuring me. And I remember we were at one of our cousins' weddings. I had just turned 21 or 20. I think I turned 21. And literally the next day after her wedding, I had a few of the elders in our family come up to me and be like, okay, so when are you going to get married? When are you really going to start taking your life seriously? And I was like, y'all, she just got married yesterday. You just had a wedding. Like, is that not enough? But so like, I definitely it was like pressure from all over. And I think that I really took that personally for years and years and years. And I kind of like went through life thinking that, okay, my only job in life is to get married, but it really isn't. Like, I'm glad that I waited. I'm glad that I got married at the age I did. I don't think that there's anything wrong with getting married later, according to the standards later in life. Now, as far as like arranged marriage, so this question is more for Baldeep and Kamaldeep. Like, would you guys be open to an arranged marriage? And also, would your parents rather you have an arranged marriage where they had a hand in finding that person for you and helping you find your partner? Or are they okay with, and they'll be fine with whoever you want to bring home?
Kamaldeep, you want to go first?
My dad would want to be a part of the whole situation. I just know it. But again, like we've never really had these conversations. I am so young, so it's not something we sit down and talk about together. I mean, today we're watching the original, so it's not something we really talk about together.
And that's a huge difference. So like at 21, my life was there was so much pressure on me versus you now. And I think that, so Kamaldeep's dad, for reference, guys, is our Mamaji. He is our mom's brother. So that is how we are all related here. So I think that he also knows that there are so many older cousins of yours and and he listens to the opinion of all of us. So if I say something to him, like, no, she's too young, like he will listen to that type of thing. Like he is younger. He is not in that mentality. Whereas our dad is so old school sometimes. And as much as I love him, the man is old school sometimes, y'all.
I feel like he got more old school as we got older.
And I completely agree. We definitely were raised as independent women. Again, there's three of us. There are just three girls. So we were raised as independent women to do what we want and be what we want and be confident and be strong. But then when it came to marriage, it was like, hold up, wait, Dad, you told me to be this strong, independent woman, and now you're telling me that my goal in life is to get married. Like, I'm confused.
Yeah.
And not only that, when I was younger, and I know it was a lot different for Priya and Baldeep and even for Kamaldeep, because again, I was the eldest. I was like the one that my parents were a lot stricter on. And because I rebelled, and I say that very liberally because compared to other people, things I did they were not rebellious, y'all. They were just normal life. But to my parents, I was a rebellion. But I think that because my dad had they made us, I kind of lost my train of thought. Sorry, guys. What was it? I was saying that, so growing up, we were told, especially me, I was told I was not allowed to date. Like, guys, no, that's not okay. You don't talk to boys.
Oh yeah.
Don't date.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden I turned 21 and I'm like supposed to get married. I'm like, hold up. I thought I wasn't even allowed to date. Like, wait, I'm confused. Like now all of a sudden I need to turn it on.
I still don't know what a boy is. Oh.
But I mean, like, it's just so baffling to me. I'm like, and again, parents nowadays are a lot different than they were like 15, 20 years ago. But like, we weren't allowed to date. Like, in our community, and the girls that did date, it was like, if the aunties and uncles found out about it, that's all they talked about. Like, oh, Lou, did you see that one's daughter? Did you see, like it was such a taboo thing. Like, you do not date, right? You concentrate on your studies and that's it. And then all of a sudden you turn 21 and they want you to get married. I'm like, well, where do you want me to find this guy from? I wasn't even allowed to date. So I know that, like, Dad right now would love Baldeep to date. Like, he's constantly asking me, so is Baldeep going on any dates? Like, so I think
my thing with that is mom and dad, again, instilled us not to date when we were younger. And like, that's just like the Indian thing. But I'm not going to sit there and tell mom and dad about every first date or second date that I go on, because what's the point what's the point in getting their hopes up that, oh, she went on a first date, she's going to marry this man. Like, yeah, that's not me. Like, I'm not gonna like sit there and be like, oh, I went on a first date. Like,
well, I also think that is another like generational thing. Whereas, like, as far as South Asian women, right? So like, we can't be as open with our parents as some of our friends can be. Like, we can't be like, hey guys, I went on a first date, because they're automatically going to be like, okay, what does he do? What does he, where are his parents from? Like, the conversation ends up going into that instead of like, hey, so how was it? You guys, did you have fun? Like, those are not conversations that are had. It's literally like, I went on a date. Hey Dad, I went on a date. Okay. What does he do for a living? What are his parents from? Like, like that is such a, that it's interesting that you bring that up, Baldeep, because that is so true. Like, you can't just be like, hey, I'm going on all these dates, because to mom and dad, you can't be that and our parents are pretty liberal. Like, we have very understanding and loving parents. But it's just not in their mentality. Like, they're going to automatically jump to, okay, like, where is it going to go from here? So,
did you feel though, like, I guess, like, Vineet, did you feel like you had to marry somebody who was Sikh?
Yes, I felt a tremendous amount of pressure. Again, because I was the eldest, I was basically told that I had no choice. Dad would be like, do you want issues later in your life? You need to make your life easier and things like that. Like, and I mean, I'm blessed. I do, I am blessed that I found my partner, and he was Punjabi Sikh, and it did make Dad happy. I remember the day I told Dad about Niraj. I don't think I've ever seen such a weight lifted off his shoulder. But I did feel the pressure because I didn't really have a choice. And I know, like, when it came to you, like, so Priya, you married a Hindu guy. Did you feel pressure from mom and dad at first?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that I would think they were disappointed that I didn't marry somebody who was Sikh. But, like, I mean, after knowing Solis for so long, I think he is probably the most Punjabi guy I've ever met. Yeah. Kind of like a caveat, right? Like, okay. And I think religion is such a concept that you have to practice it on your own faith and do what you want. And I think we do a really good job of not letting that be the core of our relationship.
Yeah. Like, Balib, do you feel like, besides just the pressure of getting married, do you feel that extra pressure that it has to be an Indian guy or a Sikh guy?
I for sure think so. And like we said, sorry, my nose is really itchy. Like we said, dad all of a sudden has gone pretty traditional out of nowhere. So I do feel a little bit more pressure to not only just date an Indian guy, but date someone who's Punjabi Sikh, just because that's what dad's always kind of like said to me. And I've never really heard him say anything else.
Yeah.
But I am more open to exploring people who are not just Punjabi Sikh, because like I know there are a lot of fish in the sea, but it would be nice to marry someone who understands everything as it like every single aspect of your religion and your culture. Because even if you're not Punjabi Sikh, if you're Gujarati or something else, like you have different cultures because you're growing up in different households. And so that for me, it is kind of important for me to find someone who at least understands my culture. But I'm also just open to other things.
Yeah. I mean, for sure it was, previous guys that I have dated or, been in relationships with weren't Punjabi Sikh. And my dad would, if he ever found out, he would constantly tell me like, this is not right. This is not right. It was a huge battle in between us. And I think that I took so much of that to heart. And I just felt like I had no choice. Again, I got very lucky that I ended up finding someone who was Punjabi, but I think that I didn't have a choice. And, kind of going back to it, like, we keep saying our dad, but I think our dad, he felt the pressure. Like, it was more of, he felt pressure, like internally he felt pressure from his family, whether they were giving it to him or not. He felt pressure to uphold these traditions. And, I don't think that he did it out of spite or anything like that. I think that he honestly, it was just the way he was brought up, the way he was taught, right? Like, so our parents had an arranged marriage. They met, got engaged and married all within 3 weeks. That was just the way things were done. My mom was 24, my dad was 27. It was just the way things went. And I think that, like I said, when he came here to America, he fought so hard to hold on to those values. And again, we're blessed that he did, because at the same time, yes, it was annoying at times, but he really did instill a lot of good into us, right? So I think that he felt external pressures. And then when he also saw his friends' daughters getting married or kids getting married, he in his head was like, well, I want my kids to get married. And I think it was more of he just wants us to be taken care of. He wants to make sure that like we are settled in life. And I think that's why he puts this tremendous amount of pressure on all of us. And I know like Kamaldeep, your parents had an arranged marriage too.
Yeah, they did. But again, I feel like this pressure is so non-existent to me right now.
Yeah. So so you can't even like relate.
I can't relate because... So like at this point, it's like my brother is the one who should be getting married.
Yeah.
The thing is with him is he is very, what's the word to describe him? He doesn't he doesn't do what he's told to do. So, you're told you need to marry a Sikh person, a Punjabi Sikh person. It's just the way it is. That's how it's always been. That's what we're told. So he obviously does the opposite of what he's told. I mean, I don't know if I should have said that, but he does. And I feel like for me, I've always been the one who always listens to what my mom and dad want and what they say. So I'm very much like, I have to eventually marry a Punjabi Sikh guy. Like, there's no other way. There's nothing else. Like, that it. So I'm very like, this is it. So like, when talking to my brother, he's very open-minded about marriage and everything. Like, he doesn't care to get married so soon. So I'm just like, but you need to be like this. You just need a Sikh girl. So all we want is a Punjabi girl. Like, so with all this other stuff, but it's just very non-existent to me at the moment. So,
for reference, her brother is 3 months younger than I am, and the pressure that he feels and the pressure that I feel are
it's like
astronomically different.
Yeah, my mum would say he's not ready at the moment.
Yeah,
they're like at the same age. So
and that's a thing.
If she's ready, he should be ready. But he's not ready to be someone's husband. Like, I love you, bro, but you're not ready.
Like, but that like
you make a good point.
Well, that's the whole thing. Like, again, in this community, this Indian South Asian community, it's like, for some reason, they're like, oh, the guy's not, he's still young. If you know, he's still young, he still needs to grow up. Yeah. Like, but then it's like a double standard. And I mean, there are a lot of double standards in our culture, but that is one of the biggest ones. It's like, wait a minute, you have a guy who's 26 and a girl who's 26. Does the guy feel pressure? Most likely not. But the girl, yes. Like, it's total double standards.
Here's the thing with that though, is I can say that I personally don't think that like guys and girls mature very differently no matter what culture you're in.
Yeah.
And like, not to say that like guys 26 aren't mature, but most of them are not.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the older sister in this household.
Yeah.
That I think you are.
I'm his older sister.
Well,
I'm not. I'm 5 years younger than him. So really and truly, he should be the mature one. But I think I'm definitely more mature than my brother is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, I definitely agree with you, Baldeep. Like boys, it's actually scientifically proven they do mature at a slower rate than women do, majority of them. So, but again, that doesn't mean that a woman should just have to give everything up at the age of 24 and her sole purpose is to get married, like obviously we don't have brothers. We have a lot of cousin brothers, and we saw the same thing. Like it wasn't a lot of pressure on them to get married. It was more on all the girls in the family, it was more like, when is she going to get married? When is she going to get married?
Well, I
feel like sorry.
No, go on.
I was just gonna say, I feel like I'm so lucky at this point in my life. Like my nanny is not, you need to get married now. Like, cause obviously there are so many people ahead of me. So my nanny's like, you need to focus on studying, getting your education and all that. And my cousins who are all like older than me and married, they're all the same. They're like, be an accountant, just do accountancy, just finish your education and get a nice job and then think about getting married. So I'm like, chill, I'm cruising. Like, I don't know what a guy is at this point in my life.
Well, you're lucky. Just enjoy it.
Kidding.
I will tell you guys, enjoy it, live your lives. Like, marriage is not bad. I'm not saying that, but like live your lives. Do what you want to do, be independent, our sole purpose in life is not to get married, regardless of what our parents think,
I was going to say, like, I think in our family, because all the women are so independent, it probably instilled a little fear, like, like that, when like the superior feeling when no one wants to marry a girl who thinks they're better than them or at a higher level. And I think that is a huge role that actually plays a lot into South Asian society. It's like you're compared to like, what's your career level? The guy should be the one taking care of you.
Yeah. And that's one thing, like as our family overall, like they never made us girls feel like that. They always taught us to be strong and confident and independent and career oriented. And all of us have taken that and run. Like, we are all very strong women. I don't think that anybody ever told us any differently. Like all the men in our lives made sure we were, confident women.
Well, you always want to know
that my brother
yourself, like.
Yeah. So every opportunity my brother's ever had, my mom and dad have never been like, you can't have the same thing. Like, I wanted to do a study abroad and I came to America for a year. I stayed with you guys. And my mom and dad were never like, no, you can't go. We don't want you to go. They were just like, yeah, go. If you want to go, go. Like, have fun. Do your thing. So I feel like our family really has instilled that in us to just be strong and confident and just independent.
I also think that like, and this totally just like another episode topic, but I feel like Kamaldeep, you and I as like the younger siblings have like gotten a lot more opportunities than our like older siblings have gotten.
Oh, for sure.
Like, and that's completely different topic.
I could, guys, I can talk about that all day long because I'm going to need a whole another hour to do that. But that is true. Yes. But anything else that you guys kind of wanted to touch on with marriage and like pressures?
yeah, I'm not getting married in the next year. Like, we're in the middle of a pandemic. It's not happening. Get it out of your mind. Get it out of your soul.
Think you guys should just enjoy dating and have fun.
Yeah.
Make some great stories for later on.
I thoroughly enjoy dating. I enjoy going on stupid dates with stupid boys and talking about the dumb things that they say.
Yeah.
Like when they invite you to like a dive bar.
Mom and Dad, if you're watching this, we love you. Don't take anything. Don't get mad at us. There's one thing I do want to say, like growing up as an Indian girl, and again, like I'm in my 30s now. So this is like talking like 30 years ago. My mom was a young mom, but she did teach us to be independent, but it was always like, we didn't feel it so much, but I know a lot of my friends, like, you know, like our parents would be like, or parents would be like, you need to learn to cook. You need to learn to clean, you know, for when you're married, and as I got older, my mom did kind of be like, okay, well, you need to learn to make dal. How do you make roti? Like, you know, you're going to have to cook for your husband. I'm like, why can't he just cook for himself? Like, you know, like those were all.
You get your mother-in-law. Your mother-in-law going to say.
Yeah, what's your mother-in-law going to say? Like, you're not going to find a good boy. You're not going to find a good boy, like, you know, dressing like that or talking like that. And again, those were society pressures. And that was our parents feeling like they had to uphold some sort of image. Like it's all about the image. I feel like people are so superficial in the Indian community. Again, I can't speak to other communities, right? So it's like, everybody's worried about their image. Like, what are they going to think about me if my daughter does this, or she doesn't know how to cook and theirs knows how to cook? You know, like, I think that's another huge pressure on Indian women. Again, I think all of us are very blessed that, I mean, y'all, I'll be honest, I don't cook Indian food for my husband very often. Like, you know, I can cook because my mom did teach me how to do it, but he's a grown man. He can get his own food. Like, you know what I mean?
He's also Mexican as well.
Yeah, exactly. But like, he'd be happy with anything that's not Indian. So it doesn't matter. But like,
happy with Taco Bell every day.
Oh, for sure. I think like I'd be wife of the year if I let him eat Taco Bell every year. And guys, don't judge. I do cook. I do cook.
Meal.
Yeah.
My first Taco Bell meal was like, oh my God, yeah.
I know, right?
For the first time after the pandemic. Finally.
But it's some things that, like, you know, again, being girls, that's what you're taught to do. You're taught to do laundry and iron and all these things. And it's like, well, what is the guy going to bring to the table? Like, you know, but I think that is a definite society, like a pressure from society, again, to uphold that image of you. Cause it's like, well, what is your mother-in-law, future mother-in-law going to think about you, you know?
I don't
can't make a round roti.
Telling me that like I used to work like night shifts, and then Dad would be like, "Well, what are you gonna do when you get married? That's not gonna be okay." And I'm like, "What do you mean? Like that's my job."
Yeah. Again, I think it's there's a big generational, like with our parents, as far as our parents' generation and our generation.
Yeah.
But
I don't cook. I don't clean.
Yeah.
There's probably in there.
You need to find a guy that does it for you. And I got blessed because Solis does cook for me when I work late. And I think that helps so much because it's like you don't have to put pressure of like thinking about what you have to eat.
Yeah. I mean, like in our household, our dad cooked, he did the dishes, like he did help out. So it was growing up, we had that to look up to, like our dad did help. So that was something that, you know, I know for sure I expected out of my husband, and, you know, and Priya did too. It's like, it's an equal partnership. So there was none of like, my mom was, even though she was stay-at-home mom for most of our lives, it wasn't that my dad didn't help out. So Dad definitely did help out. He did the dishes, he cooked, and he actually prefers to cook his own meals, guys. He's actually a pretty good cook. So if you ever talk to him, he'd call himself the Thavi master. So, but I think that's another thing that, like, again, we're blessed, but there are a lot of girls that, you know, families out there that don't have that to look up to, you know, they feel the pressure that the woman is supposed to do everything. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, that's true.
Okay, guys, I think this was a really good topic. We are interested to hear what you guys feel about this topic, how you felt pressure. Leave comments below, DM us. We'd love to hear your personal stories. As usual, don't forget to like, subscribe, share this with your friends. This is a conversation we want to open up. We want to hear from all of you guys. Yeah, wherever it is. I don't know where it'd be on the screen, but we do. We want to hear from all you guys. We want to hear your experiences. Did you feel pressure? Or do you feel pressure to get married? And what do those pressures look like for you? So definitely drop us a comment. Thank you guys for being here with us today. And before we go, we have to get into our favorites of the week. So Boldy, why don't you start this week? What are you loving?
Can I go last because I have to pick mine up from the floor, so I don't want to.
Yeah, all right. Go, Boldy, you go. What?
Okay. It's going to be a shameless plug for you, Steph. It's my cute little top from Velita Team. It's the Everyday Tunic.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Go with anything. Like, I mean, I'm not going to show you what I'm wearing now with it, because you can dress it up, dress it down, do anything with it. It's great. Love it.
Nice. I like that one. I like that one, guys. Yeah, it's available in two colors. It's available in two colors. Priya, what are you loving?
I'm loving my watch band. It's, how do I do it? This thing, is that how you do it?
Yeah.
It's from Sparkle Band. And honestly, like when you're on calls all day long, I don't feel like the Apple Watch band looks professional. So super easy to put on. It has like a button clasp.
She's bougie.
Yeah.
I'm bougie.
But those are really cute.
We're basic.
That one is really cute.
Thanks.
I like that one. Okay, so I am going to go with another skincare. It's a skincare product this week. It's my Tula eye bombs. Y'all, I have them in every single color. Well, they're not colored, but basically they're just like hydration sticks and cooling and brightening sticks for under your eyes. So like as soon as I wake up in the morning, I just pick one of them and I roll it under my eyes and I immediately feel more awake and it makes my eyes look more awake. And I kind of just reapply it throughout the day to kind of brighten up my skin and my under eyes. I'm a mom of a toddler, so I don't sleep a lot. So these definitely help me out. They are definitely a must-have. I have them everywhere in the house, clearly. So these are the ones from Tula. I will be linking all of our products below. And believe, actually, I forgot, you haven't gone yet.
Yeah, no. So mine are my slippers. They are from Amazon and they are literally the best things I've ever put on my feet. It feels like you're walking on a cloud and I never want to take them off. I feel sad when I have to put on real shoes. I'm going to order those. They're in my Amazon cart right now. So, all right, guys. Every color.
Before we go.
Yep.
K-pop song of the week, Dynamite by BTS. Check it out.
Oh my goodness. There you guys go.
Check out. It's so good.
K-pop song of the week. Okay, guys.
By BTS.
All right, guys. We will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.
Bye.